All right, welcome to this next assignment. So what we have right here is the index page, which is given to you already. We're going to have to create 3 new files, though, in order to complete this assignment. And inside of our index, of course, we have the metadata up here at the top, the head tag. We got a title. We're going to have to add more to that. So if you want to give yourself space right now, feel free to do that. We've got the body, which has a level 1 header, a paragraph, level 2 header, and then an unordered list with 2 items in that list. So that closes out the body and the HTML tag for us right there. Okay. So the first thing we're going to want to do is to create our 3 new files. And the first file we're going to create is the compiled.html. So in the top left, you're going to click on New Plus. You click on that, and then you go down to File. When you click on File, you're going to type in compiled.html. But be careful because sometimes it'll capitalize the C. We don't want it capitalized. As you can see, I have the name down here, compiled.html. And it needs to be the same uppercase, lowercase stuff. Now for the assignment, you need lowercase. In one of the classes, we uppercased the C, and it did not give us the credit that we deserved, even though the web page was working. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, and I created a compiled page right here. Let's go ahead and show that we're just going to make a note for this one. So there's the beginning of a note. This is my compiled.html because we can't see the title there. And then next you're going to do the same thing, New Plus, go down to File, and then you're going to name this one scripting.html, scripting.html. So this is mine, and of course it's empty still, but I'm going to make a note first that this is the scripting.html. Okay, so that's my scripting.html file. Then we'll create the style.css. So again, in the top left, click on New Plus, go down to File, click on that, and then type in style.css, all lowercase. So this is my style sheet, which we know, of course, is empty right now. Excuse me, but we're going to be fixing this one. So this one I got to keep blank. I don't really want the note in there, but for the HTML, these are okay. So I can see the difference between compiled and scripting, and then I have the original index file back here. So that at least gets us started on this assignment. Now the next thing we want to do is make sure every one of these 3 HTML pages has a title. So all I'm going to do, and this is something that I recommend you do too, so I'm going to go to the compiled, but I'm still in the index, and I'm just going to do Control C. In fact, I'm going to Control C the body here like this. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to type all that stuff in. I go into compiled, and beneath my note, now I can do Control V, so I can see here's the body, and then I can close the body out here like this, and then I can also close the HTML. See, and it kind of knew what I was doing right there. In addition to that, I don't want this to be the title of this page. Now what I've just done right here is created pretty much the very basic structure of any HTML page. So I have this, and I can actually take this code that I just put in there and do Control C, go to scripting, and do exactly the same thing. Just paste that in there. So all I need now is a title, which it says it does want us to put in a title for each of these 3 pages. So I'm back in compiled, you can see right there. And this one in the index, I said it was Pacific Islander languages, so I'm just going to take that one and copy that and put it in as my title for this page as well. And then the scripting, so let's go to scripting. Scripting would be the Asian languages. So again, I'm just going to take this one, copy it in to scripting as the title of my page right there. So I could open these up, but it's not going to do me any good right now. You can kind of see. Let's see, for web dev down here at the bottom, I've got the 4 different files right here, and you can see I've opened the index file like this, but in addition to that, I can also open the compiled page, which you can see it only shows the title, and then also I can open up, whoops, that's not what I wanted. So that was compiled scripting. It's going to look like this for now. And then the cascading style sheet is not a web page, so I wouldn't open it up right here, okay? But I can see all 3 of those pages right now. And the next thing that they want us to do is to add a link to scripting in the index. So index right here, compiled for me is Pacific Islander languages, but of course for you it's going to say something else. And so for my list item, the second one here is going to be my scripting languages. So it's an A tag with a hyperlink reference, href, equals quotations, and this one is going to scripting.html, close quotations, close angle brackets. Now that's the beginning of the A tag. English, Asian languages are going to be inside of the A tag. Inside the A tag. There it is. Okay. So you have an A tag right here that you can see the end of, and then you got the list tag, which has a beginning and the end, but the A tag is contained inside of it. Okay, so what is this going to do for me? If I go back to the web page for the index right here and reload, you can see Asian languages now has a link to it, to this Asian languages page right here, which I am calling scripting.html. So that puts a hyperlink reference there. And then let's see, what we want now is to add a link to the index at the bottom of these other two pages, both compiled and scripting. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do it pretty much the same way that we did the A tag in the index right here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say I'm going to make an A tag with a hyperlink reference equals quotations, and this is just going to go into the index.html. So index.html, close quotations, close angle bracket, open angle bracket, slash, and it closes out that A tag. It wants us to call this the home page right here, so I'm just going to call it the home. And at least for compiled, if I go to my compiled page, which is the Pacific Islander languages, I can reload this and click on home, which will take me to the index page, as you can see right here. Okay, so from my foreign languages, this is the index. I can navigate to the Pacific Islanders languages, and then I can come back to the home page and go to the Asian languages, which does not yet have the link to the home page, which you can see right here. I have all three open in new tabs, but I can navigate on the independent website as well. So we're going to do the same thing as we did in compiled for scripting. Since it's exactly the same thing, I can take this code, Control-C, copy it, and then go to my scripting page file right here and then paste that in as well. So if I save this and now go to my Asian languages page, you can see now it gives me a home hyperlink, which if I were to click on, it would take me to the index page. So that is that part of this assignment. And let's see, next up, use the following styles. Okay, so let's go ahead in here and give ourselves some styles. First up, what we want is a style for the body. So it's the body tag. So of course I've got body right there, and then I got my fancy brackets. Inside the fancy brackets, I'm ready to put in a rule. We're going to start with a font-family. So font-family, colon, and it wants us to give this a specific, again on your assignment, it wants a specific font family style, but I'm just going to choose one randomly, one that I'm familiar with, Arial. Okay, and that the A does have to be capitalized right there. Now for the bodies of my web pages, now that I have that in, if I come back to the foreign language, all this stuff was in the body if I remember right. So if I reload, well, it's not showing the change, but there should have been a change right there. Okay, and that was, oh yeah, so here's why it didn't do that. So remember, usually we put the styles in the header, but I do not have a link yet for my for the style sheet. Okay, so I'm going to come in here in the head. Again, I like a space between things that I'm doing, so I have a empty line on line 5, and I'm going to put in a link to the relationship, which is a style sheet, close quotation, and the type is a text cascading style sheet, and then the hyperlink reference is to, of course, the style.css, close quotations, close angle brackets. Okay, so this is going to make so that the index now has a link to the cascading style sheet. So I'm going to go back to my web page, and if I reload this, you can, there it is. You saw the changes. That's because now I have the index accessing the style sheet, which right now in the body I've changed to the font family Arial. Now, not only are we going to do that there, you can see that I've highlighted this line, which is going to link to the style sheet. That's because I don't want to type this in again. So I just do Control C. I can go to compiled and put this also in the header, and then I can also put it into the scripting, and just like this one right here, which will then force any styles that we put in the style sheet onto scripting and also compiled. Okay, so that's our first style that we have. Let's go ahead and put in another style, this time for our list items. Now again, you need to follow along with the assignment, so I'm just going to choose something random. Let's go with a font size, which is, again, just a random size. 18 pixels seems like it's pretty good. And again, we can go to each of these three and reload. So notice right here, the two list items that I had they just barely changed, just a little bit in size. Okay, so that's that part of the code for the cascading style sheet. And then the last thing they want us to do is to make the links have a specific color. Now again, follow along with the color that they have for you, but the links are in A tags. So I have my A tag right there, and then I have my opening and closing fancy brackets. It wants it to have a text, so that's just the color. And again, I'm just going to choose something randomly, so you can go through the colors, the name of the colors like this one, and let's see if we can find a good light sea green. I like that one right there. So I'm going to make this color light sea green, and that should change all the colors of my A tags, which all of them have A tags, right, with my links. And if I reload this, boom, it made that light sea green. If I reload this one, light sea green and Arial now, and then this one also inside of the scripting page is now light sea green. And if I click on it, by the way, it's not going to change the colors. Okay, so it didn't change the color right there like it usually would for most hyperlinks. Usually it starts out blue, but once you click on it, it would change to a purple color. Okay, the last thing we need here is to actually put in side of our compiled languages some actual lists. So again, I have a body right here, and I'm going to give myself an unordered list like this one, and inside that unordered list I need at least four list items. So I'm just going to highlight that, Control C, and then I can quickly put in 4 list items right here, which then I can enter. So these are Pacific Islander languages, and we could start with Samoan. Of course, you'll want to type in whatever the assignment says, and then there's Tongan, like this one. There's Fijian, and Maori. I may have spelled Maori wrong, but I also don't care. Again, the idea is that you can put in an unordered list. And now if I go to my compiled page, which is the Pacific Islander languages, I now have 4 bulleted items there. And you know, if you were to come back here and wanted to put in a level 1 header that says these are Pacific Islander languages, you could do that. But be careful with that, because I think on the assignment it doesn't give you credit if you do that. So just be careful. So that is that part of the assignment. The next one, and this should be the last one for us, is we need 6 different, in this case for me, Asian languages. But really all that means is in the body, what I'm going to do is give myself an unordered list, like we've done. And then I already have the list items, or the list tags, copied. So I can just paste these in here. Again, we need 6. If you don't have 6, it's not going to give you the credit. But pretty much anything you put in these list items will work, which is why, again, I'm using Asian languages like Japanese, like this one. Or I've heard of Mandarin before. Let's see. I've heard of Tagalog, but I may have spelt that wrong. Let's see if I did or not. Let's see. Tagalog. I forgot a G there, didn't I? So let's make that correct. I may have spelled Mandarin wrong as well. So whatever. Let's see. Other, I suppose Indians have language. Maybe there's Sri Lankan. Again, maybe I spelt that wrong. And what the heck, probably Mongolian, I would assume is language. Again, I could be wrong of these. The text really does not matter as long as you get something typed in, and you need at least 6 of these in order to make it work. Okay, so let's go to this page for the Asian languages, and that's Pacific. Let's go to Asian, reload it, boom, there it is. I've got my 6 languages on there. That's all we really need for this assignment. Again, they probably have you use programming languages, which is why these ones are scripting languages, and these one probably would be compiled languages, okay? But there's the code for all 4. I'll show these once again. Let's see if I can make this small enough for everyone to see all the code. And then I will go away to the next assignment.